Hello lovelies, and welcome to today's video. My name's Alya and I'm so glad you stopped by. Today we're talking about eye infections and how they happen. And stick around till the end to find out how I go about getting rid of them. So I do get that today is probably the most ironic video I've ever shot for this channel, or in life, I think, pretty much. Because putting makeup on, or using makeup, is one of the biggest ways to achieve an eye infection, especially if you don't clean your brushes. So I guess the first one is clean utensils, or clean towels even is also very, very important. I use all natural products, which can also sometimes mean, not in my experience with these particular products, but in general can sometimes mean that there's less preservative. The good thing about less preservative is that preservative does go off, and that often shortens the shelf life of any product, whether it be an eye drop or a makeup item. But it can also protect you from things like mold and whatever growing in the palette to begin with. And there's no real way to tell by just looking at ingredients, or just discovering what they put inside the palette, which you never really fully will, unless it's a brand like Aether or like Double Down, where they really do tell you every single ingredient as a part of their whole brand thing. But even then, you're never going to really know what else has gotten into it. Have you dipped your brush into liquid? Has there been any, fluid in the air? Or, did you sneeze on your palette? That sort of thing. And how does that react to naturally occurring ingredients versus synthetic ingredients? I mean, it's all very difficult to ever really truly know. Even if you are someone who is well versed in the field, it's still really, really difficult to know. So the best thing to do is to regularly clean your utensils, because that is the one thing that you have very good control over. Me personally, I could use a brush twice at tops. I use my makeup daily. I usually rotate my brushes. If I can see that a brush has been used, I tend to not use it. I tend to put it in my little washing pile, and about once a week also, I'll just give them a rinse using either an all-purpose cleaner, which is natural, biodegradable, or my favorite is the Young Living dishwashing liquid. It's my favorite for everything from stains to brushes to you name it. Just my go-to product for life, really. I even use it to wash my makeup off if I'm wearing quite a bit. But of course, that's not the only thing that's going to introduce things into your eyes. I also make sure that I take a blow away, or sort of dust away any excess dust from my palettes, and I always keep them closed. I never leave them sort of just sitting open. I also keep these, and I tend to wipe them down every so often with an antiseptic, so that there's a nice antiseptic or very clean product sitting between the lid, which can get dusty and dirty, and I touch it and whatever, and the actual thing. This can be wiped, so that's really convenient. Alright, I'm going to jump into my new palette that you might have seen on the last video for the next colour. Very exciting. I love new stuff. Another very common way to introduce pathogens into the eye is through the sinuses. So if you've had a bit of a cold, or a bit of a just even hay fever, it's very common to have an eye infection or eye symptoms as a result. It might be something as simple as a runny eye, something as simple as a red eye, no other symptoms, or it could be a really sore, burning, watering for hours and hours eye. Any extreme, any sort of version of that or combination of that is very normal, because the sinuses are directly connected to the eye. And two sort of things can happen. One is that the eye is constantly draining tears down, which means that they have to have somewhere to go, and if you're congested, they just kind of back up. You get this bottleneck effect, and they've got nowhere to go, and they become stagnant, and that itself can become infected because it's a now far more moist environment. And typically the reason that the tears are there and the reason that they drain is they're taking things away from your eye, and here you are in an environment where they're staying put, especially overnight where we don't really blink. That's a really good opportunity for things to start growing and multiplying. The other thing is the other way around. So you might not be congested there, but there might be something that got into your eye, like a bit of dust, or maybe you touched your eye, or maybe from that makeup brush, from a tissue, from just rubbing your eyes. That's another really common one. Rubbing is a big no-no, guys. If you need to wipe your eyes, wash your eyes, wash your face, or use a clean towel or a clean tissue, as clean as it can possibly be, because eyes are really good at maintaining themselves, but that means that they're going to be runny. It means that they're going to produce all the things that they need to produce in order to clean themselves, and that can be really uncomfortable and unsightly and quite painful. The other thing to avoid or to be very mindful of is your pillowcase. This is a really great breeding ground for lots of things. Pillowcases are kind of actually gross. If you think about it, we roll our sweat, our dead skin cells, our remaining things that we didn't wash off properly, everything that kind of comes to, lives on our body comes to bed with us. So pillowcases, even if you don't change your whole bed sheets as frequently as perhaps recommended, I would at least flip your pillow every so often. First of all, it's good for your neck to, fluff up your pillow every so often. You don't want it to be sort of bunched up. I mean, it depends what pillow you have. A lot of people have memory foam these days, but generally speaking. But also it's an extra step or an extra refresher for having a clean surface to put your face on. And of course, it's pretty good to change your sheets frequently, but of course, I understand that not everyone can have that available to them. It depends if they have a washing machine or need to use a laundromat, all those type of things. I get it. I totally get it. Whether it's cold where you are, whether you have somewhere to dry the sheets, I understand. When I change the sheets, I change 3 beds at once, so it's a lot of washing, and I get it. But even if you're doing it, every fortnight, let's say, or even I know some people even change their sheets monthly, whatever. I'm not here to judge, but you definitely want your pillowcase, which is where you put your face, where you put all your breathing tubes, where all the sort of main orifices that can't be clothed go. Okay, because we can put on pajamas, we can change our clothes to protect the rest of our body, but we can't really do that with our face, and it's something to be very mindful of. You also want to sort of perhaps use a sheet so that you don't have to change your duvet as much, so you can have like an extra layer. It's up to you, but I really would encourage just having something clean against your face as much as possible. I feel like that's a really easy life hack to not have to do as much washing but still have that cleanliness more frequently. Pencils, or things that can't be just cleaned, like a brush. So applicators that can't be changed, like your mascara and your pencil. What I do, especially if I can see that there's been a little bit of like leftover eyeshadow from last time, you can just take a little bit of a cleaning cloth and just give it a bit of a wipe, or a tissue is fine too, and just give it a wipe. That's absolutely fine. The other really good thing is if it's a sharpen, something that comes with a sharpener. So this one actually comes with a little thing at the tip, you can just sharpen it, or if it's one that comes with an actual physical pencil, you can do that. This one is a retractable one, so you've got to physically remove a layer. Again, if you use something really frequently, it's less likely to become a problem. You'll most likely use it up well and truly before you actually kind of get to the point where it becomes stagnant like that. But if you're someone like me who has several different colors and things do last you a couple of months, you can either throw them out after a while, which is definitely not economic, but it's an option, or you do definitely need to clean the surface of it. Usually things in pencils, because they're quite oily, will tend to live on the surface, I find. And the other thing is just don't sleep with your makeup on. If you can help it, definitely wash it off. And wash it off with a really nice product that will remove any gunk, not just the actual makeup itself, but any gunk that can gather on your face. And I'm talking about, any sort of surface oils that you don't need for them to be there. I use a beautiful oil-based product. It suits my very dry skin quite well. As I mentioned, if I've been wearing a lot of makeup, if I've got sort of cream products on, I'll use a little bit of the dish. I know it sounds crazy that it's a dishwashing detergent, but it's a very natural dishwashing detergent. So just because it's marketed for washing dishes and does a good job of washing dishes, it actually washes anything, and it's super safe and super non-abrasive to the skin, or to your clothing for that matter, or your dishes. It's really lovely. And the other reason I love it for dishes is it's all over my hands when I'm washing the dishes, so I know that I'm not ruining my hands or my skin as I'm doing that, or introducing any nasty chemicals onto my skin via the dishwashing product, which then again, you touch your face, you touch your eyes. So another thing I would really look at is your cosmetics that you wash your skin with, or you wash your hair with, or you wash your clothes with. I would try and really get to understand the ingredients there. Sometimes we use irritants without even realizing it. For example, I've eliminated anything that's got fragrance in it. That's my big no-no in my house. We do not have anything with the word fragrance in the ingredients, because that is the biggest hack that these cosmetic companies or these chemical companies have. They can put just about anything in that has a smell and call it fragrance, and we don't know what it is. We don't know what harm it can do to us, or what kind of barrier it can take down that the body has up there naturally to protect. With mascara, it's a particularly interesting one because you can't just wash the wand, can you? Like if you put a wet wand into the mascara, you'll probably ruin the product. You could probably introduce new things into there just by trying to keep it clean. So you definitely wouldn't do that. The best thing, of course, is to hold on to an old mascara wand from the previous mascara, if you're using the same one over and over, and put that into your washing, into your, when you're washing your brushes, and disinfect it properly. That way you've got an alternative to swap and change, and you're never leaving your mascara open, and you're never replacing it with a wet and potentially, something on it, infested brush. So that's a really, really great option. Or the other thing you can do is you can make sure never to pump the actual tube. So when you're using mascara, you should never do that motion of trying to get more product on. Put the wand in, twist it, and then sort of scrape it out as you pull it out. That's a much better way of putting product onto the wand. If you find that your mascara is getting dry and crumbly and you're not quite ready to discard it yet, although I probably would recommend you did, you can put a little product like this. So this is like a setting spray or a preparation spray, into just one spray onto the wand. Something like this is not going to introduce, it's not like micellar water, or it's not like tap water where it's going to allow that kind of moisture. Some of these oils are actually have antibacterial, antiseptic properties about them, so it's a really great way to go about it. And many setting sprays do have like a yucky stuff in them that helps the makeup set, but it also helps things not get infected in a sense. So yeah, read your ingredients, I suppose, but something like this is a really, really good way to go about it. Or if you have a nice tea tree oil or something like that, that you can sort of get onto your brush first just to dilute everything, that would work really, really well. Just make sure not to get straight tea tree oil into your eye, because that would burn. Now, how to get rid of a bit of an itchy or runny or red eye. The first thing to do is wash, 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 wash. I would do a homemade saline, which is just boiled water, a teaspoon of salt. Sea salt is best, but table salt is fine. Make sure that the cup you're using has been sterilized with hot water first. So pour hot water in, swoosh it around, pour it out, then do your solution. Same thing with the spoon, run it under boiled water before you use it to mix, and then you can just use a cotton bud once the water is cool enough for you to apply to your eye. If you're feeling a sty or some sort of inflammation coming on, use a lot of lubricant drops. That really helps the eye to regenerate its own natural defenses. You can use a hot tea bag or a hot tea instead of a saline. At this point, tea is full of antioxidants, and it really helps to open everything up and drain everything out. A chamomile is really good, or a really natural black or a Ceylon tea without any additives if you can manage it. Something organic, or something that says no colors added or natural or something like that would be best, because you don't want to add anything new to the eye, especially when it's vulnerable. And of course you can get over-the-counter antihistamine or drops if you can see that there's a lot of swelling or a lot of puffiness. Chances are it's either a viral component or it's an allergic reaction, so it's just your immune system gone crazy. You can use an antihistamine in that scenario. Or if you see a lot of pus or a lot of discharge, then you know that it's most likely infection, so then you have an over-the-counter antibiotic eye drop. And of course you want to see a specialist at that point. If you've got a lot of symptom, it's gone on for more than a day, these things should not last more than a day. You should have washed it and flushed it out within a few hours. If it's still there the next day, you really do want to be seen. Optometrist is a really great walk-in option. A lot of optometrists will see same day, but if you can get into a specialist to make sure that there is nothing that needs to be removed or treated with more sort of clinical medicine or prescription medicine, then you do want to be into your specialist. So, but home remedies really do work. Eye infections are extremely unfortunately common. They happen all the time. I have a whole video on chalasia and how to get rid of them, so there's more tips in that one, but flushing the pathogen out is your best port of call. And don't put anything in your eye that you wouldn't eat. That's my other thing. Don't, you would happily, something like tea is really happy and benign, salt water is really happy and benign. It's a natural sort of occurrence in your eye salt, so it makes sense to just flush with that. Whereas, stuff like, I've heard some home remedies, which I won't even mention because they're crazy. I mean, if you wouldn't ingest it, why would you put it on your extremely vulnerable, exposed eye that is already maintaining itself 24/7? Why would you give it an extra battle to fight? All right, my lovelies, I hope you enjoyed today's topic, as ironic as it was, watching me apply makeup, which is probably, I would say, the #1 cause, or one of the main causes. And yeah, loving my new palette, which I reviewed last week, and my new lippy, which I'm wearing now for the 3rd time. Really enjoying it, very luxurious. So if you're interested in that, please do watch that video, and subscribe for more. There is a whole catalogue. This channel's been going on for a few years now, and there's lots of eye stuff going on there, lots of makeup looks, things like that, Tichel Tutorials. Check it out and see if there's something there that you would enjoy. For more everyday stuff in my world, please jump over to Alya's Creation on Instagram. There's definitely more stuff going on there. I've kept that active even when I've had downtime on YouTube, so definitely do check it out. Lots of very cute doggy pics up on that one. Wherever you are around the world, my lovelies, I thank you for joining me, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Bye.